Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. I just wanted to drop in here and talk about a couple things. Um, I'm a little behind on talking about this because I'm still waiting for a lot of these facts to come out, but I want to talk about these plane crashes, and now there's a train derailment in Philadelphia um, with 350 people on board, and everybody escaped, but that's not where I'm going to go with this video. So, the last couple weeks, to say the least, for mass transportation has been a little bit sketchy. Um, in case you're not following, we started off with the crash in D.C. With the Black Hawk helicopter colliding with the passenger plane, and then I think it was the next day the plane crashed in Philadelphia, and then there was also one in Alaska, I believe it was maybe the end of the week, and now this train derailment and basically burst into flames. So which begs the question: what is going on all of a sudden? I mean, we also had the last year with the boat hitting the bridge, which I doubt we'll ever know the real reason on these, but it's just something I want to touch on because um, it always seems like we never really get to the bottom of these things, or it's always kind of a sketchy way around to get to an answer. So. Um, and I guess have to wonder. I mean, with all the unrest in the world, is there something more behind this? And is it something that you should be prepared for if you're going to, be traveling mass transit? And it might be a consideration, for a little while you might want to, maybe rethink some of that, or just make sure you have a plan in order when you are doing it, because you're very limited, especially if you're flying or especially flying, because you're not able to really carry things on board to protect yourself, if you know what I mean. So which everybody else is in the same boat and there, but that doesn't really mean anything anymore. If people want to get to you, they're going to get to you. If they want to get something on that plane, they'll find a way to do it. But it begs the question: could there be something bigger at work here? Possibly sabotage. All these systems run now, everything is computerized. So could one of our enemies be hacking into some of these systems to cause problems? Could it be sabotaged by some of the people that are, basically piloting these things? Are they, do they have nefarious reasons behind it? So it kind of begs the question, that what is going on all of a sudden? I mean, in the last week, I said, I don't think at this point you'd get me on a plane for anything. But it's definitely something to put this on your radar, and follow what we're being fed, and then if you need to, seek out alternative news. I don't have an answer for you. I didn't come on here to give you or scare you. Really, that's really not the point. I've told you before, I'm not going to get on here and try to scare you to death into doing anything. I just want to inspire you to maybe go and do a little bit of research on your own, and check the alternative news sources. Check things that really don't have an agenda like the mainstream media does, because as we've seen, that they're not to be trusted. But but as I was sitting here looking at this morning, I just got this news came across about this train, the train derailment and explosion, and it seems like over the last year there's been a lot of these catastrophe kind of things going on, where it doesn't seem like maybe in the past it was more sporadic. And a lot of this started even, I'd say, a year or so, even in the last 2 years, probably, with some of this stuff that I have to wonder about. And I'm sure some of it is legit accidents or legit maintenance failures. There's a lot of it, but why also, I've asked. I mean, these are, this isn't some backyard mechanics working on a lot of this stuff. These are, they're trained professionals that should be maintaining these trains and planes and automobiles, obviously. But so is there something else afoot? I don't know. I have my suspicions of things. I mean, because if you look back even over the last couple of years about how many the food processing plants, you had the train derailment in East Palestine, which is in our backyard here, and within that frame period, I think there was 2 other ones within a month. That weren't as crazy as the East Palestine one, and it seems now there's a lot of the litigation that down there is still ongoing with a lot of it. I know a lot of people are trying to, trying to capitalize on this, which I agree that the people should be compensated properly because, their properties are probably, the value's probably pretty low at this point from all the damage. So I do agree there should be some compensation, but I also think people have to be sensible because, from what I'm hearing, there's people that are jumping involved and, trying to turn the waters and try to get more than, and it's kind of messing people up that really need it. So, but where does this all stem from? Is it, are we just being conspiracy theorists thinking about that? I don't think so. I think we should be questioning all these issues and why these things are going on. I mean, there was a stretch there for about 3 or 4 months where it was every other day there was a food processing plant somewhere exploding or catching on fire, or you're starting to see a lot of contamination. It seems like every day I turn on the news, something's contaminated, whether it's milk, bread, butter, whatever, canned goods, frozen vegetables, whatever it is. It just seems like there's a lot afoot in our society, which, this being a preparedness channel, why am I bringing all this up? Because you need to be ready for this stuff and you need to be prepared. You need to be looking to the future. You start to see a lot of these food processing things, for instance. This is a good sign that, try to raise your own food if you can, as much as you can. And I know not everybody's able to do that because of, infrastructure and things like that. But, take more control, I guess, is a good way to put it. When you're, make sure that, if you're able to do that, if you're able to get a couple chickens, if you're able to plant a small garden, even to supplement what you have to get from the grocery store is going to be helpful. Learn to do those things because, we may be getting to the point here, and I'm going to talk about this on a future video because there's a book that I'm going to recommend to all of you, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm almost finished with it, but I'm going to definitely do I'm not even going to do a review. I'm going to do a recommend you read this book because it really kind of puts some things in perspective. And it's a short read. It's not a hard book to read, but it's very simple. So we'll talk, I'm going to talk about that in another video. Probably by the end of the week, I'll be completely through that book, and we'll talk about it and why you should read these things. Even sometimes it might be these books might be written by people that you claim to not like because the big scary media tells you that these people are horrible and all that. Read it anyway because the information is in there is good, and you can start to put your own puzzle pieces together about why many of these things are happening around the country. And even starting with like starting with the COVID and, some of the reaction to that and, just the silencing of people, things like that. And, this video might not even make it just because I said the word COVID. The censors at YouTube are a little bit on the sensitive side, but, because once again, they're scared of the truth, is to put the truth out there because it doesn't fit the agenda. And if you think that's the conspiracy, well, you think what you want, but we actually know the truth on that one now. That's been exposed a lot. So, but I'm going to talk about that and maybe how some of this all connects together, because there's definitely something afoot, and it might be a little bigger than we even realize. And it doesn't start right here in our country. This is some worldwide issues, which brings me back. Could some of these crashes, could some of these derailments, some of these fires and explosions of these plants, could this all be tied together in some way? Because, from I don't want to say a higher power because it's not coming from our higher power, but, from an agenda of the global elites, as they like to be referred to, and as we like to call them. So definitely keep your head on a swivel. I mean, it goes back to, and even some of these things that some of these, at the beginning of these terrorist attacks are happening in the festivals, and people are driving cars and, trying to blow up Trump Plaza and Vegas, and all these crazy things are happening. I really think 2025 is going to be probably an interesting year. So, it's definitely one of those things to start, if you're not getting prepared for things, you may really want to start doing it. I know a lot of us have, not me at all, but a lot of people have started to breathe a sigh of relief after the election. And I really don't think you should do that. I don't think you should sit on your hands and hope for the best. I really think, if anything, now is probably a better time to even get prepared and, just have your things in order as best you can. I mean, I know everybody's at a different level. If you need things, get what you can afford. Don't go broke trying to, to fill your basement full of guns and canned goods. Don't do that. But, come up with a plan where maybe you can do a little bit here and there just to get yourself ahead. Because, you know, in many of these instances, you know, people were kind of stuck, you know, with nothing. You know, like the East Palestine situation is a good example. Um, you know, people need the drinking water's contaminated, but you know, a lot of people didn't have anything on hand. You know, keep a little bit on hand, and you know, be willing to. You're gonna have to maybe go outside your comfort zone sometimes to go get more. You know, whether it's out of your area or whatever. Um, Not that these plane crashes are affecting that, but it's really something to keep an eye on. Is why we're getting these catastrophes. It seems like in a small time frame. Could it be coincidence? Maybe. I don't know. I don't have an answer to this, but it's definitely something to keep on your radar. And you know, definitely seek out other news sources. Don't listen to what they're telling you on the View and you know, about the status of the world, because it'll make things worse for you. So that's really all I have today. It's like I said, it goes back to what we say: get prepared, keep your head on a swivel. You know, keep your situational awareness. And situational awareness doesn't necessarily mean when you're walking to your car in the grocery store parking lot. You know, situations could be small, but situations could also be large. And by that I mean things going on in your local community, your state, you know, the country, and the world. They're all situations, as we like. You know, they're just on larger scales. And you need to be at least somewhat cognizant of what is going on in the world. So, you know, that's all for today. Just as always, you know, get prepared, keep your head on a swivel, you know, be aware of your surroundings and, you know, the larger surroundings of of the goings on. But definitely do a little bit of research. Keep yourself abreast of all these different things, and you know, try to put some puzzle pieces together if you can. And as always, you know, just be prepared, man. Just keep it on, you know, keep on top of it. So until the next one, like I said, you'll be seeing me here in hopefully a few days, and I'm gonna talk about this book that I'm reading. I think it's something important that you might want to check out. Even though the author is very controversial, the information in the book is really not. So anyway, keep your heads up for that one. If you like these videos, subscribe, and you know, give me a like if you do, and definitely comment if you have something you can add to any of these conversations. Definitely, even if it's something, you know, worthwhile, or can help, you know, some other listener, or you know, keep us on top of things going on. I appreciate it. Till next time, God bless, and I will talk to you later.